Absolutely. The number one thing that people get and the number one experience of doing my job that is most enlivening is stress relief, is explaining that when people come in, they have a certain opinion of themselves. There's a certain set of rules that exist in reality that may look like I pay my bills on time, I work hard, I pay my taxes, and I get what I deserve. And now all those three things are happening, but getting what you deserve is not. And around that conversation comes up feelings of inadequacy, feelings of stupidity, feelings of how did I get here? Why am I here? What can I do? This seems impossible. All of those things. And what we try to provide is that relief to help you understand that all of those rules that you're putting on yourself, all of those judgments seem very real, but there is another perspective out there that's empowering for homeowners who are experiencing that can provide real solutions. The difference is the solutions just might not look how you think they should. So the way that shame ends up playing a role in this is that there is such a high level of embarrassment or discretion at best within this. There's confidentiality. All of those feelings of inadequacy, frustration, I should have known better. Why did I make these choices? How did I end up here? This isn't fair. All of those things are huge contributing factors that prevent people, that create obstacles from them getting to a solution. So how does that look? That looks like I have this set of rules, and while these things are coming up, I know that my credit score is a reflection of my character. That's a rule I've lived by my whole life. And if my credit score falls below a certain level, it means that my morality is in question, my ethics are in question, my character is in question, etc. So actually coming to another person and saying, I'm a mess with my finances, really requires somebody to be prepared for the judgment that they think that that will provoke. And that's why we provide the service we do. But where that plays a role is I can tell you that a huge percentage of the people who are being foreclosed on right now are doing what they can do to get the relief and the information they need, or they're doing nothing because they're just too ashamed to even deal with the reality that they're about to lose their home. And they don't even want to consider, are there options? Because considering are there options requires a regurgitation of the past. It requires a person to be accountable for their choices. It requires somebody to acknowledge that the impact of their choices are detrimental in this circumstance right here, but that's okay. So all of that shame, all of the embarrassment, all of the frustration, all of those feelings really create huge barriers and obstacles, because by virtue of the fact that you're sharing your heart and your concerns with somebody, you're automatically opening up all those judgments. And what we're here to let you know is, I'm somebody who's been in foreclosure. I'm somebody who's remedied myself from foreclosure. And I'm somebody who's lived that experience night in and night out for years, literally, personally. So I do know what you're going through. I really do. And I'm here to tell you that all of those things that you're thinking people are going to be judging about you are what you're putting on you. And in my experience, having consulted, not with you, but with 2,500 other people who have situations and concerns and feelings similar to you, that all of them are going, gosh, you know, I'm not sure if this is really such a good idea, but I don't know what else I can do. So people are thinking what you're thinking. There's others out there. The levels of discretion are just so high that you pass your neighbor and you go, hi, how are you? Everything's great. And you don't say something like, how are you? Well, my trustee sale is scheduled on Friday and I haven't paid my mortgage in 9 months. How about you? Me too. But that's really what's going on in many, many places in many neighborhoods in America. So what drives me is a number of things. So practically, I'm really good at it. I'm really good at understanding lenders' positions, the way that they profit, because it's not how you think, maybe, and understanding the challenges that banks are up against and the ways to make it easy for banks to make a profit while serving to the interests of the homeowner. And those two things are, in reality, look so different from how most people think they should look. Like the bank should help me because it's the nice thing to do, right? It does not look like that. It looks in a different way. So having had the personal experience of postponing, gosh, I think 8 trustee sales in 3 years. I just got my trustee sale postponed. That was scheduled today for the 15th. It's postponed now until 11/5. And it's going to be permanently postponed thereafter. So somebody who has the experience of being able to understand how to leverage what exists, what resources are available, is a real practical application. I've done it myself. I've been through that experience and persevered tremendously. So that's one piece of it. And then the other piece is that I personally have one of the most satisfying and fulfilling experiences of life, for one, right now talking to you, really. That's why I'm here doing this. That's why our nonprofit's here. That's why every Friday I spend my time doing this, and that's what all of us do. And by the way, our compensation is not monetary for any of this. There hasn't been one monetary piece of compensation. Everything we get is so much more valuable than money. So I have the most fulfilling experience of life when I'm engaged in sharing knowledge with people that I believe, or being someone for somebody that I clearly can see helps contribute towards ending their suffering and empowering them and inspiring them to seek their own personal fulfillment. That is the most enlightening, fulfilling experience when you have somebody who comes in, specifically, if I could elaborate on this for just a moment, don't cut me here if you're editing, is when you have somebody who is the child of a baby boomer, the rules, or excuse me, the baby booming, cut, if you have somebody who is a baby boomer, who is a child of the Depression, the likelihood is they were raised in a home that has very rigid rules linking your financial word integrity and your character. And a lot of those rules do not apply now. And I'm somebody here in my early 30s who will talk to somebody with a lot more knowledge and experience in owning homes and living life and paying bills and having character and experiencing things, come to me with a set of concerns that I can identify with, but really am left with, why do you think that it's like that when everything in your life says it's not? So the example is, if I work hard, if I'm responsible, if I pay my taxes, things will work out. Great, those are your rules. They've worked for 48 years, they've worked for 55 years, they've worked for 39 years, however long you've been alive. And now you're coming here talking to me to say, these are the rules and help me understand what the disconnect is between the rules and the result, because I know that there's an equation there. And I'm the person who's here to say, you're playing by the rules of a different game. You're talking to somebody who does not have those constraints, who has extremely high tolerance for risk. And what I can do for you is offer another perspective that carries with it a different set of rules that I and many, many of my clients, not all of them, but many of them feel empower them, and literally within about 40 minutes to an hour provides as much stress relief and peace of mind as they've been trying to obtain for sometimes years. And I do mean that. I do mean that. That is the most enlivening experience. And I know it. I know that that's what I'm here to do. My calling is creating home because that's how I have that experience of life. It's like the greatest, most fulfilling rush that exists for me. And so I just gravitate towards that and do it over and over and over and over and over again.